how to start it. When I was 16 years, the war with Germany, I am from Poland, broke out. And the German came in 1939 to Poland, and I was 16 years old. And there were white, there were killing people right away, hanging people, cutting beards, the Jews. And we ran to our homes and hiding, nothing came. And after almost a year, they made a ghetto in Lodz. The ghetto was in the cheap section in Lodz in Poland with wires and soldiers around and it was start to be a sperra. A sperra, you know what's a sperra? A curfew. We couldn't go out. And 5 o'clock we had to be indoors. And there the German started to make like, you know, the Jude-Älteste, wie sagt man, die Jude-Älteste, the oldest of the Jew, to be the president of the ghetto. And they start to make all kind of factories, and we had to work. Children, boys or girls from 13 years on. And it was a rationing. We got a piece of bread a day, and 5 o'clock we couldn't go out anymore. Let's say we had to go from one street to the other. They make, you know, most bridges over to go. Because underneath the bridges, Polish people were riding the horses or cars, but we couldn't go out, we wouldn't go out. We weren't allowed to go at all from the ghetto. And we were working, and the food was every year less and less. People used to lay down on the streets and yelling, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. I got a little bit of luck, we can say, in the whole misery. I was working in a kitchen, and the kitchen was made for people, intelligentsia, what they say, for doctors and lawyers and engineers. And they came and had a portion of soup and maybe a potato was the luxury. And we were going on, and once so often the German came in with trucks and were collecting people. We had to go out on the street, and they were picking people and taking them on the wagon and went away with them. We didn't know where, what. We didn't know nothing. We didn't have a watch, we didn't have a radio. What we had the luxury was a little light, electricity. And day after day after day, and that was going on 5 years. But after 4 years, After 4 years working and killings of all kind on the borders from the ghetto, they were shooting. One day I came home a little after the curfew, and I went through the bridge, and there were two soldiers with rifles, and one soldier took up the rifle, and he said to me like this, "Why are you going after the curfew?" I said, I was at work. And he aimed at me, and the other grab his hand, and they said in Germany, "Lassen Sie laufen." I should run. So I started to run, and I thought that the other going to shoot me in the back. I was sure, because those were happenings. Anyway, the story, I think it should be a short time, but it took 5 years. After 4 years, the German give, a rozkaz. A rozkaz is that we have to leave one part of the ghetto and go to the other part. We didn't know why, and then we find out that there liquidation in the ghetto. And we still didn't know that there are camps somewhere, which the camps were for 5 years already, all around Auschwitz, Schlüthof, Bergen-Belsen. Good enough, we start to move on the other side. We didn't have a home, so we were sleeping, my family. And at that time, I have a boyfriend already. And my boyfriend wants to come with me. So I said, "Come, we'll go to your mother to tell her that you're going to go with us." We don't know where. We didn't know that that there's an Auschwitz. They said that we are going to work. So my fiancé said, "I'm going to go with you to work." We went to his parents, and she made a fuss. Why shouldn't I come with them? Good enough, we went all together. I arranged that we went, we didn't know where. Then we had to come to one place, and there were people with bundles, and we had our bundles. And then they started to load us on cattle cars, just like for horses or cows. And if the German push us out with it, we can do nothing. And we went in the cattle car, and we were 4 days on the way in the cattle cars. There were no water, and there were no food. We were knocking at the door, "Please, bitte, bitte, a little water. And but the fourth day, they opened the cars, and I saw a name Auschwitz. But this was the city, a city. Where you come to a city, it's a name. So it was Auschwitz. I didn't know. We didn't know what is Auschwitz. But one man stayed on the station there. I looked out from the cattle window, a small little window, so he made like this. So I didn't tell my parents or his parents or my fiancé even what that means. I sat down, I didn't say nothing. Then we went another 2 hours, and the train stand, and then it was a big sign, Auschwitz macht das Leben sweet. If you were in Auschwitz, I bet you were reading it. Arbeit macht das Leben. Yeah, when you come just in, that's a big sign. arbeidsmarkt. So we did it. So we thought that we came to work. So then it started a selection. A selection, first of all, men separate and women separate. So we start to cry and yell. So they start to beat us with the rifles. Then the men went separate and the women went separate. And they took us, the women, to a big, huge room. And they said we should undress naked. We were naked. The German came in, and the inmates from Auschwitz came in and shaved our head. It was maybe around 500, 600 women. And my mother said, children, give me the hand. I won't recognize you, naked without hair. So we grandmother had said, we should stay together, especially mothers and daughters that were separating. And in German it sounds the gerade mother, Mutter and daughters. They have to separate. So we didn't call my mother anymore mother, but Mrs. Spiegel. My maiden name is Spiegel. And then they let us go out and they were throwing a dress. The dress wasn't our dresses, from people what was guessed already. No pants, nothing, just. And the first 3 nights we were sleeping on the field. And when we were on that field at night, in the day, but at night, somebody came to our place where we were laying, those people from Poland, from Lodz, and that she was calling our name. We hear our name, and we wonder who can read our name. So at night, a friend from Lodz, from the same city, who was with my sister in one high school, in a Hebrew high school, was yelling, Spiegel, Spiegel, quiet. And she found us. She found us. She said, you know where you are. You see the chimney? They're burning. Who isn't with you? They're burning. We didn't know what they did to the men. But we were sitting, we couldn't move even. And she started to show me the name, like he has, the number. And she said, you know what? I don't know what they're going to do with you, but you have no number. Maybe you, in mind, you know, the whole group of our, no, not us, but the whole group. The whole group didn't have numbers. They didn't have time. Something was going on what we don't know. Maybe a plane came searching over Auschwitz. We don't know. Anyway, she said to us those words, listen, girls, we have this and this number, and we're going to go soon to Auschwitz, to the gas chamber. Maybe you don't have numbers. Maybe they won't kill you so soon, because kill for sure, so soon. But if you live through the war, you should tell the whole world. And this is what I remember. As much as I can talk still, I am 97 years old, you know. So I have to hurry. Okay, I I wrote a little memoir, and I have lectures, and I am in churches talking, and white people, black people. I'm working on it. And then after a while, maybe 3 days, we were just outside, just an address, not pensive, just after maybe 3 days, they took us to barracks. The barracks, you know how a barrack looks. Are they still? They're still in Auschwitz, the barracks, just to show. Yeah. So they give us barracks, and we were very lucky because 90%, 99%, they're separate, they took away mothers from the children. I had my mother. So it was my mother and my sister and me. And I didn't call her mother. If I want to talk to her, I call her Mrs. Spiegel, something like this. And they give us that night a little coffee to drink. Next day, we got a soup. And in Auschwitz, we didn't go to work. And now I'll tell you how it looked to go to the washroom. We was waiting once a day. They came in, and the whole barrack went to the washroom. The washroom were 4 pieces of wood, and we had to stay for 2 or 3 minutes, and they beat us to go back. And that was going every day. So one day I hear that somebody came to take people out for work. So I said to my mother, to my sister, maybe we're gonna go there, maybe we're gonna go to work. And that's what we did. We went to this place where the German was picking people. We didn't know what work, where work, to work. Anyway, they picked my mother, me, and when they picked my mother, the German bent down to say, oh, my mother has good muscles, or she would be able to work. My mother at that time was a good-looking woman and young. Anyway, they took us to another lager, Stutthof. This is on the ocean side in Poland. And it's also unfortunate, it was a very famous lager. But there, the crematoriums were working already. And when we came in with the German, people from Poland and they were there, but they were there in that camp after the Aufständung, after the, how you say, it was the Jewish ghetto was making a uprising after the right. When Anielewicz, maybe you hear Anielewicz, I'm going to beat you up. You know, he was in the Warsaw, the one who organized that uprising. In their fight with the German, everyone got killed. That's another story. But the Polish people were also involved a little. And they sent them to that lager where I was in Stutthof. And I heard our language, Polish, and they said to us like this, Żydówki, Jews, be courageous. The war will be soon over. The Russians are at Vistula. We have a water like the ocean, but a river. And the Russians didn't came because it was here the revolution in the ghetto. Anyway, in that place, we didn't work. Just in the morning out, in the evening in, and one day a little soup we got. And to wash, if it rained, we washed ourselves a little bit. Just like worse than animals. And we were there a few months, maybe 3-4 months. And then again, they said, we are going to another lager. So they were liquidated, this one, and they sent us to, nobody knew till today, people didn't know except the one who were there. Viste Gisdorf, something like this. And there were when we came, it was empty barracks. And there were you made bridges like those beds with a little bit of hay on it, straw, and that was our beds. And they start to go with us every day in the morning, 6 o'clock was our appel, and they count us, or we are still there. And there we went to that work, and it was February, January, the worst months in the year. We didn't have food, so if we found a pushka from Coca-Cola, this was our, and we scoop a little snow, and we were drinking the snow or eating the snow, and at night we came back and we got a little soup at night. And that was again a few months. And one day, is an appel. Appel is we have to go every morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, and they were counting us, and then they went to work with us. And one morning they said, we are not going to work, we are going for a death march. Death march. How can you figure a death march? But what are we to say or what to ask? We didn't know. There was a room for sick people, and right away a wagon came for the sick people, and that those between the 6 people was my fiance's sister. And one sister was healthy, and when they took her sister on that wagon, we know that they're going to be shot 2 kilometers from here or further. They were killing the sick people. And I ran after her, and her name was Hanechka. I say, Hanechka, don't go with Erika, with your sister. They're going to kill her, and they're going to kill you too. And you know what? It's in my book. I will never till now forget. She might like Franka, she said to me, would you leave your sick sister and go away in liver, so sick. And if you would live after the war, could you live with yourself? Those were her last words. And if I talk now to you, I see her in the wagon and with little people. So I had behind me my sister and my mother. So I left her. Sometimes I think maybe I should be with them. But my mother and my sister, it was, I never saw her again, both of them. So we went out for a dead march. We were marching. My mother, they let us take our cover blanket. Everybody went a blanket, and we started marching. The snow was up to here. And we saw that the war goes on and people are rushing in, but we were under the German, guards. And we were maybe over a week marching back and forth, back and forth. And somebody passing by said, people, don't be afraid. The Russian is not far from here. That's what they're saying. That's what we know about the war. In one place, he said, halt, the German guy, and he said, listen, I have to run away, and I have to shoot you all, because this is mine. I had to do this. If not, they're going to shoot me. And my mother threw herself to his feet and hold his feet. And my mother said, kill me, shoot me, but leave the children, the young people. We were maybe 9 people, maybe 8, because on the way 3 were shot. Anyway, he didn't shoot us. He said, I'm going to shoot you. And we begged him. So he said, who can run should run. Who cannot run should sit down, so he's going to shoot. 3 people sit down, 3 women. But he didn't shoot them. And we started to run. He called us back. We should pick up the people. That's how it was. He has a little bit of humanity, maybe a little, or he was afraid, the German. And we picked them up and we dragged them with us. Good enough, he took us to a barn on the way. There were barns with people who live, farmers. And we went, he put us in the barn on straw at night. And we were very, very tired and hungry. At middle of the night, he came in, the German, and he said, I have to run away, and you have to come with me. So my mother said in Yiddish, you understand Yiddish? No. Okay. My mother said, children, give me your hands and don't be afraid. It was another few years. Mother said, children, we have now 120 years. And we are not afraid. We are not going nowhere. He wants to shoot us in the daytime, he's going to shoot us at the evening, at night. We didn't say a word. He didn't shoot us. He took 2 people that want to go with him. And they didn't shoot them because we met them after the war. Yeah. And he went away. And then he went away, but we were with Vlasovцы from Ukrainian people. They were with us too. So the Ukrainian didn't let us free go. They took us to a little city, Prucevsrodnie, Preuß-Eylau. And they didn't know what to do with us. The whole little town was destroyed by fighting. And we were standing. So, you know, some Polish people were working in that city. They went by with some little wagons, and they said to our girls, grab the wagon and come with us. 3 girls, separate, went with a wagon with this. I saw them after the war in Warsaw. They were alive. But the rest of us, my mother and the rest of us, we looked like leopards with it, and hungry. And they want to give up. The people in that little town, even German people, wants to give us a piece of bread. And they start to throw sugar, lumps of sugar. We want to catch them. They didn't let us catch them. We are staying, what they're going to do with us. And then we start coming wagons, they put straw on them, and we should go on the wagons. We have to obey, if not, they right away they want to shoot us. So I know about the Inquisition with the wagons, with the burning. I say, who knows whether they're taking us, the second Inquisition we had. And my sister made a joke. You're going to see we're going to have today a soup at night. So we thought that she's cooked already. Okay, we are going with the wagon, going. We see from the first end a big house, like a barracks. But we didn't see a chimney. So we said, oh, there is no crematorium because there's no chimney. They took us to that barrack. And that barrack was for the soldiers a stalag. You know what's a stalag? The prisoners of war were in stalags. They're called stalags, where they hold the prisoners. So that was a prison. The prisoners left with the German. They took them out also. I don't know where they went. But we have their beds. Those where they were sleeping. And there was, nothing was. All of a sudden, at night, some people came in at night. And us was still with us, one German at the door. But we have where to lay down. And the next day, we didn't have water. Some of the soldiers who hide not to go with the German hide in some place. They heard that some woman came out. There were soldiers of war, French, Russian, Polish. There came in, and there didn't see women so many years. They were in the fighting in the war. It was over 4 years. It was almost 5 years, the war. And started asking from where are you? One speak a little Polish, one a little Yiddish, and one a little French. And they brought us food as much as they have. They brought us to put on menswear, and we changed, burned our clothes because they were always lice. And one from the Russian came in, and when he came in, he said, woman here, he said, what are you doing? My mother knew Russian. My mother knew Russian from the First War. And she said to him, I am Ivri. Ivri is a Jew in Russian. And he said, it can be, they're all murdered. There are no Jews. And my mother beats in her heart, I am my Jew. And he said, can you speak Yiddish? My mother said, yes, so speak. She had to speak Yiddish. So he didn't believe her still. Do you write Yiddish? And my mother said, yes. He took out, he just came out from the war, from a piece of paper with a pen, and my mother said a few words in Yiddish. I don't know what she said. He said, I'm going to take now that letter and send to Moscow to my parents that in the biggest fight in the war, in the Schlacht of the war, of the cutting the heads, I met a Jewish mother with two daughters, but they spoke a little Russian in Yiddish. So that was like send a malach, malach from the sky. And they took us out from there. But the war wasn't over. And we were marching with them to different. There were people on the earth, and there were animals and chickens and dogs, and we were marching through. They took us to a place, to also a big barn, and they give us food, and we ate. The next day, they start marching away to other places. Anyway, that was everything happened. That was everything happened the end of February, January, February, March. No, further, May, till May. Till May, we start to think, we stayed with the Russians, with the soldiers. And they were collecting people in that place from all, even Polacks around, whoever they, and around beginning of May was the end. The 5th of end was the end of the war. And at night we were going past with those soldiers, and we saw illumination in the sky, and we asked, what is this? And some people said, that's the end of the war. We didn't know even. That was the 5th of May at night. And we stayed with the Russian for another month because there were not trains, no buses, and the war wasn't over. The war was over the 5th of May, yeah. And we find it out at night. So then we stay with the Russian another few days, and then we start to go by foot to Poland, to our home. But on the way, some people with horses were taking us and give us a little, almost barefoot. We came home to Poland, to our city. And the ghetto of the city was Litzmannstadt, but it was Lodz. When we came home, I had 2 different shoes. And how we looked, I don't know. I didn't have a mirror. And where should we go? It was evening. We went to our home. So in the city, in Lodz. When came up the steps on the 2nd floor, half that, we were a few girls, maybe 5, 6 girls. And we knocked at our door, and she opened the door, the Polish lady, and knocked the door on our noses, out of here. And we didn't know where to sleep. So we went downstairs. It was night already. We sit on the floor till morning. So in the morning, we went out on the street. And we were looking for a policeman. And we got a policeman, and we said that we just came from Auschwitz, from the lagers. Maybe there is something Jewish organization or a good enough. There was in one in apartment. There was Agmino. You know what's Agmino? Wie sagt man Agmino? Agmino is auch Polnisch. Where the city hall. We went to the city hall. I know where to go. And we asked for a home like this. So there's show that it's where. And we went there. When we came, so it was a few Jews already in this. And there were Jews who were left in the ghetto. That's another part. But we find out this in the end. When we went to Auschwitz, there left maybe 50 people to clean up the ghetto, Jews. And they had to dig a hole on the cemetery. After they're cleaned up, they're supposed to shoot all 50 people. And they knew about it. Anyway, those people were around. And where I came in, by coincidence, there were my husband's friend, and that was at the time a fiancé, not a husband. And they, where is Leo? Where is Leo? I don't know if he is alive, and I don't know where he is. He said, Franka, maybe you're going to help us out. People are coming for registering. And he said, we have a wagon with a horse. And we are bringing people who were coming from the lagers, wherever they see them. There were people coming from Russia with children. And I helped to locate them, be around them. And that's little things. When people saw me from those Jews on the street, one took me to Bata, to shoe store. I was wearing different shoes. So he said he hardly knew me. He knew I'm from the ghetto. He bought me a pair of shoes. So I had shoes. I could walk already, two shoes. And I was still wearing the yellow star painted. I had to cut out and put it inside. So you tell a story, but it's a lot more to it. What you can indulge, what you can live through, what a human being can have that. We came. And people started to take us in for the night to sleep and give us a piece of bread, because bread was hard to get. And I started to work and register people. And the same, my mother and my sister started to work. And every day people were coming, register, and they asked. And we asked, maybe you saw this name, maybe you saw this name, maybe you were together. Nobody saw. One day I came home and my mother was already. Franka, did you hear something? I say, you know what, Ma? So many people came back, nobody heard from them. So what the men weren't my brother, my father, my fiancé, my sister's husband. When I talk to my mother, Ma, we have no hope, honest to God. Somebody, no, not yet. Another few minutes. Just if he has to go to the washroom. Otherwise, I don't let him go. Listen. Good. A few minutes. Somebody knocks at the door. But knocks like policemen. I ran to the door and I said, something not nice. I say, why did you knock so? And I opened the door. And my future husband stays there. I don't have to tell So he told us that my father perished, his father is alive, my brother is alive, my sister's husband is alive. He came also, the pants up to here, no shoes. We had to put together or to borrow something he should wear to go under the street. My husband was a student in Belgium, engineering, because Łódź, Poland, Łódź was a textile city. So the parents were sending the sons for engineering. So he knows that he has friends in the city. How can he go out like this on the street to people? Good enough. We got pens, we got things, and he went out. In the first one, I went out with him on the main street. He meets one of his Polish friends. And when he saw him, he said, Leo, are you alive? Are you alive? He didn't believe it, that he is alive. I say, you are yelling, you are alive? I have to look again. Oh, he is him. So And then we start our life. He gave him $50. 50 zlotys, not dollars, 50 zlotys. And we were sleeping at a friend's home, 20 people on the floor. Today we have condominiums with houses. You don't have where to put something to sleep if somebody comes. Anyway, that's how it was. And that's, I work, and he started to work, mind you, and in the end, he had with his friends what he was studying already in the school, textiles, the Roma factory. And so to the end, we were waiting for our father, who didn't come back, who never came back. So we all went to Israel. And my brother was left in Israel, and my mother, and my brother couldn't be. Oh yeah, I got first a little girl. We didn't want to have children. 3 years after the war, I had a little daughter. So we went with, my husband didn't want to be in Israel, in no way. It was too hot and too cold, and it wasn't good. So we went to Paris. I had uncles. Anyway, from Paris we came to Canada. Somebody sent us papers. And here I am. And this is the end of the story.